Dinar shift. The world of international currency is often a realm of long-term planning, subtle shifts, and institutional procedure, but sometimes a tangible development occurs that captures global attention. After years spent in the shadow of speculation and rumors, a significant technical step has been taken that suggests the underlying financial infrastructure for the Iraqi Dinar, or IQD, is being prepared for a new phase of activity. This isn't just another rumor from an anonymous online forum, it's a verifiable institutional move. The pivotal change involves 8 major banking institutions within the United States activating live rate screens for the Iraqi Dinar, a development that signifies an internal readiness far beyond mere casual interest. This action has effectively transitioned the conversation from one of pure theoretical debate to one concerning concrete, practical preparation, and it marks a potential turning point for all who have been closely monitoring the situation. Understanding the technical nature and implications of this activation is key to grasping the gravity of the current moment. For over a decade, individuals have meticulously tracked every minor detail related to the IQD's trajectory. Official statements, reports from international bodies, and unconfirmed banking whispers have continually fueled a mix of hope and deep-seated caution within the community. However, the evidence emerging now is substantially different because it relates to the heart of the global financial system. The internal systems of these large U.S. banks have now visibly integrated and activated the Iraqi Dinar, displaying a real-time exchange rate on screens that were previously either blank, reserved for placeholder rates, or entirely restricted from showing the currency. This technical visibility is a powerful indicator. It fundamentally means that the complex behind-the-scenes machinery of the international banking framework is now synchronized and operational for this specific currency. This step is a prerequisite to any wider public accessibility, functioning as a silent signal that the long-anticipated process is moving forward in a structured, deliberate manner. When financial institutions confirm that their currency screens are live for the Iraqi Dinar, it is essential to understand the technical context, as this does not translate to immediate public exchange availability. Instead, it confirms the readiness of the system's core infrastructure. Foreign exchange terminals used by bank personnel are now listing the IQD with a dynamic, active rate. Previously, the dinar was effectively excluded from this internal display, a sign that the currency was not a part of the bank's active foreign exchange portfolio. The recent activation shifts this status completely, moving the currency into the active operational sphere of the bank's foreign currency systems. This is analogous to a complex machine that has undergone extensive maintenance and repair, and is now being switched on for the first time, warming up and ensuring all parts are functioning correctly before being put into service. This phase of internal testing and activation is a critical, mandatory step before the banking network can safely and securely open its doors for public transactions. The institutional commitment behind this move cannot be overstated. Major banks do not casually integrate a new currency into their live internal systems. It requires extensive coordination across compliance, security, and treasury departments. Activating the IQD rate necessitates thorough system testing, security protocol approvals, and updates to the internal workflow architecture to handle the new transactional data. The fact that 8 of the largest and most influential banking institutions in the United States have simultaneously undertaken this structured rollout suggests not a small, limited trial but a serious, coordinated preparation for long-term readiness. This collective institutional decision reflects a significant shift in perception, indicating that the Iraqi dinar is no longer being ignored or treated as a marginal asset. It is being formally and technically integrated into the world's leading financial networks, setting the stage for future global acceptance. The timing of this significant technical shift is widely viewed as a direct consequence of years of concerted economic and financial reforms undertaken by Iraq. The country has been diligently working to enhance its global credibility through improved financial transparency, strengthened anti-money laundering regulations, and closer cooperation with international bodies such as the International Monetary Fund (IMF) and the World Bank. These quiet foundational improvements, while not always headline news, have steadily boosted international confidence in Iraq's economic stability and future potential. A commitment to fiscal discipline and the stability derived from robust oil exports have collectively persuaded major banking powers that the IQD is evolving into an asset deserving of formal recognition within their operating systems. The activation of live rates is therefore less of a spontaneous event and more the culmination of this painstaking, multi-year process of reform finally achieving a visible, technical result on the international stage. An important element in understanding this process is recognizing the standard operating sequence of large financial institutions. Banks do not typically transition immediately from internal readiness to public availability. The phase following technical activation is dedicated to critical internal procedures. This includes running simulated tests of transaction flows, providing comprehensive training to front-line and foreign exchange staff, and verifying the procedures for customer identification and anti-fraud measures. The live rates now visible on internal screens represent the culmination of all pre-public, behind-the-scenes work. It is the clearest technical evidence yet that the long-discussed currency adjustment process is moving through its final institutional gateways. This systematic approach ensures stability and compliance, signaling a mature and regulated path forward rather than a hasty or disorganized launch into public exchangeability. For those who have held the Iraqi dinar for an extended period, This institutional acknowledgement is a profound psychological and practical confirmation. For years, the status of the dinar often felt tangential to the mainstream financial world, existing primarily within the speculative community. Now, the technical integration of the IQD into the core system architecture of 8 prominent U.S. banks provides genuine validation. This move fundamentally confirms that the currency is being taken seriously and is actively being prepared for a structured financial role. It shifts the discussion from whether the currency would ever be acknowledged to the practical reality of how its transactions will be managed within the sophisticated, regulated framework of the world's largest banking systems, confirming that IQD transactions are no longer dismissed as an impossibility. Crucially, the next stage will be marked by the importance of precise timing and preparation. Once the official window for public exchange opens, transactions will be managed with strict, structured protocols. This includes mandatory verification procedures, stringent anti-fraud checks, and confirmation of exchange rates according to established bank policy. Individuals who take the time now to ensure their documentation is in order, their notes are clean and organized, and their personal plan is clear will be able to navigate the process efficiently and smoothly. Conversely, those who delay preparation until the last minute risk facing confusion, potential delays, or complications. This quiet period, before any public announcement, represents the optimal opportunity to organize personal affairs related to the currency, ensuring a readiness that will ultimately lead to a more effective and less stressful experience when the time comes. In practical terms, holders of the currency are advised to focus intensely on preparation and security. The physical condition of the dinar notes is important. Damaged or heavily soiled currency may lead to delays during the verification process. Furthermore, all necessary official identification, such as passports, driver's licenses, and current proof of address documents, must be readily available and valid. Most critically, a heightened awareness of the external environment is essential. The period leading up to a major financial event often sees an increase in unofficial claims, including rumors of private or early exchange deals. It is imperative to remember that regulated, legitimate exchanges will only be conducted through recognized, official banking channels, not via secret codes, anonymous chat groups, or non-public lists. A disciplined focus on official bank announcements is the only reliable guide for action. The lengthy journey of the Iraqi dinar has tested the patience and resolve of its community, often transforming initial hope into cycles of frustration as rumors failed to materialize. Yet, this recent development points toward verifiable institutional actions, moving the narrative beyond mere emotional speculation and firmly into the domain of tangible preparation. A calm, focused mindset is a far more valuable asset than chasing every fleeting piece of online chatter. The banks are progressing methodically, adhering to established, regulated procedures. The most strategic response is to mirror this professionalism, stay informed, maintain a patient approach, and ensure complete readiness for the structured process that lies ahead. Emotional responses should be tempered by the necessity of clear, practical decision-making. The reason this update is being framed as a potential game changer is because it strategically positions U.S. banks to handle authentic, high-volume conversions of IQD to USD. This technical capability paves the way for legitimate liquidity flow through highly regulated and transparent financial systems. By integrating the IQD, it signals a reconnection of the Iraqi currency with the broader global financial network. This initial action by 8 U.S. institutions is likely to set a precedent. Once the dinar becomes a standard part of their foreign exchange operations, other global institutions across Europe, Asia, and the Middle East are expected to follow suit, eventually fostering wider international acceptance and transactional viability for the IQD on a scale not seen before. This institutional endorsement is critical for its mainstream integration. On a macroeconomic level, this banking readiness signifies a deeper, more enduring confidence in Iraq's economic potential and future stability. The nation, despite facing complex historical challenges, including conflict and sanctions, possesses vast natural resources and a committed path toward reconstruction. A more stable, internationally recognized dinar is a powerful magnet for attracting foreign direct investment, which is vital for infrastructure projects and elevating the living standards of its citizens. The formal decision by major global banks to dedicate technical resources to the IQD is a clear market indicator that they recognize this potential and are willing to re-engage with the Iraqi economy. This long-term re-engagement ultimately benefits Iraq and validates the persistent patience of those who have held the dinar as a symbol of the country's eventual recovery. The most common question that naturally follows this news is whether this means immediate access to public exchange. The factual answer remains no, not yet. The technical activation is a signal of institutional readiness, not immediate availability. It represents the final alignment of systems, the visibility of rates, and the internal preparation of bank departments. Before the public can participate, the final layers of operational readiness must be completed, including security sign-offs, regulatory compliance reviews, and the deployment of necessary communication strategies. The positive implication is that, typically, these final steps follow rapidly once the core system activation has been confirmed, meaning the timeframe shifts from a matter of years to a matter of a much shorter, concentrated period of final preparation. It is also important for the public to manage expectations regarding branch availability. When public exchanges are initiated, it is unlikely that every local branch will be ready simultaneously. The process will almost certainly begin with selected major branches that specialize in foreign exchange services. These locations will have the trained staff, the necessary security protocols, and the equipment to accurately verify notes and guide customers through the required compliance paperwork. Smaller, local branches may be onboarded later as the process becomes standardized. Therefore, when the time arrives, the most efficient approach will be to proactively contact the bank's main foreign exchange department to confirm which specific locations are authorized and prepared to handle the IQD transactions. Concerns about potential fees and hidden charges are understandable, yet the expectation is that exchanges will be governed by standard currency exchange policies. Banks compete for foreign exchange customers, and transparency is a core requirement of modern financial transactions. Unscrupulous or unusual charges should be questioned, and customers have the right to request a full breakdown of any fees and compare rates. Any legitimate transaction will be fully documented with a printed receipt that clearly shows the exchange rate applied, the conversion amount, and any specific deductions. Maintaining a comprehensive record of all documents and receipts is a crucial protective measure, providing a verifiable paper trail for all financial activity. The extensive caution being exercised by banks before initiating public access is due to the inherent complexity and scale of a significant currency adjustment. This process involves the coordination of potentially large currency volumes and high transactional values across multiple international jurisdictions. The bank's deliberate focus on fraud prevention, absolute accuracy, and strict legal compliance is an effort to prevent any technical or operational misstep that could result in widespread financial confusion. They are working to ensure a seamless and stable transition by meticulously synchronizing internal communications, from the tellers on the floor up to the regional management teams, signaling a preparation for long-term stability and controlled rollout. Furthermore, the activation phase serves as a formal communication to financial regulators across the globe. It effectively confirms that the necessary infrastructure is in place for continuous monitoring, accurate reporting, and compliance with all international standards, particularly those concerning transparency and anti-money laundering efforts. Banks cannot simply open the floodgates. Every large currency transaction must be traceable, verifiable, and legally compliant. This technical update is therefore highly significant as it demonstrates that the process is unfolding correctly, securely, legally, and with the full professionalism expected of global financial institutions. For anyone observing this process and feeling uncertain about how to proceed, the simplest and most effective strategy is to prioritize reliable, official information from banking and regulatory sources. Allowing impatience to influence one's decisions can lead to unnecessary risks. The most advantageous outcomes are consistently secured by those who combine thorough preparation with disciplined patience. Keep a close watch on your bank's official public statements and utilize credible, established financial news outlets. Ignore any unsolicited offers or anonymous claims of early access or special deals. Legitimate transactions operate through regulated, established institutions, not through private, unverified communication channels. Based on the typical procedures of major banks following a technical screen activation, a potential public exchange timeline may begin once all final internal testing and regulatory checkpoints are fully cleared. While this does not provide an exact date, it suggests the timeline could be compressed into a matter of days or weeks, rather than months or years. Once banks are satisfied that all technical and compliance issues have been fully resolved, they will begin to allow clients to conduct IQD exchanges at verified locations. This event will be preceded by an official public statement, likely issued through bank websites and major financial news wires. That official notification will be the cue to act decisively. In the current holding period, the most intelligent and proactive step for any holder of the Iraqi Dinar is to finalize personal organization. This involves sorting notes by denomination, using protective sleeves to maintain their condition, and having copies of all necessary identification documents on hand. Creating a straightforward checklist ensures that when the official announcement arrives, one can confidently walk into the bank fully prepared, minimizing the potential for errors or delays. This process should be treated with the same seriousness and professionalism as any other major financial undertaking. It is a financial process, not an unpredictable lottery. As this important development continues to unfold, the global financial community is watching closely. The live activation of IQD rates across 8 major U.S. banks serves as a critical milestone, bridging the conceptual divide between years of market speculation and the practical reality of implementation. Whether one is a long-term participant in the IQD community or someone new to this story, this moment underscores the power of perseverance and patience. The financial system is visibly aligning with the long-held belief in the currency's ultimate potential. In final summary, the key facts are as follows. 8 major U.S. banking institutions have activated live IQD rate screens, signifying that their internal systems are connected and prepared for real-time transactions. Public exchanges are not yet available, but the banks are clearly in the final stages of pre-launch readiness. Dinar holders should focus on organizing their notes, ensuring all required identification documents are ready, and waiting exclusively for official communication from recognized banking authorities. Unofficial groups and private offers must be avoided completely. When public access is announced, the process will be secure, structured, and fully transparent, The long journey is nearing its conclusion, but this remains a period that demands smart, cautious decision-making. The best outcomes will belong to those who stay calm, maintain clarity of thought, and adhere strictly to official procedures. Every significant financial change begins with these quiet, foundational institutional steps before becoming a visible reality for the world.